of equations. What were those two ways that we solved them?
The graph and
Graphing.
And substitution.
Graphing and substitution. Those were the two methods that we've learned so far. So now we are moving on to the third and final method, which is called elimination. So it says extending the addition and subtraction properties of equality can be used to solve the system of equations by the elimination, or it's also called addition method. So before now, we've either had to graph these two equations and see where they cross, or we had to get one equal to x or y and plug it into the other equation. Today we are going to, step 1, add the two lines or equations together. So I'm literally going to add these two things together. What is 5x plus 3x? 8x. What is negative 6y and positive 6y? 0. So those cancel, and we're just going to cross those out because they canceled. Bring down the equal sign. Negative 32 and 48.
16.
Positive 16. So step 2, we are going to solve for x. So what do I need to do to both sides of this equation? Divide by 8. So x equals 2. From there, just like with substitution, step 3, we are going to use x equals 2 to go back and find y. So you can plug that into either of the original equations. I'm going to go ahead and use the second one. So the second one was 3x plus 6y equals 48. So we plug in x for 2. So 3 times 2 plus 6y equals 48. Simplify, 3 times 2 is 6, plus 6y equals 48. Subtract 6 from both sides. So 6y equals 42. Divide by 6, so y is 7. So step 4, write the answer as an ordered pair. So what is the solution here? 2, 7. Good. Step 5 would be to check the solution. I am not going to make you check it, but if you wanted to check it, we could take the solution point, 2, 7. You would need to plug it into both equations and make sure that it came out to a true statement. Are there any questions on how to do this? Try the understanding check at the bottom, those two problems.
Yes.
Part A, we added the line, so what do you get? 6x equals 12. The negative 2y and positive 2y canceled. Then what do you do next? Divide by 6. So x equals 2. Then plug it back in. It does not matter which one you plug it back into. I'm going to use the second one. And I'm using the second one just because it doesn't have a subtraction. It just looks easier. So I'm going to plug in 2 plus 2y equals 8. Subtract 2 from both sides, so 2y equals 6. Divide by 2, so y equals 3. So what is my ordered pair solution? 2, 3. Raise your hand if you got that right. Good. Alright, let's do the second one. When you add this one together, what do you get? 12y equals 12. And then what do you do to both sides? So y equals 1. Plug that back into either equation. So if I plug that into the first one, I would have 2x plus 3 equals 11. Then what? Subtract 3. So 2x equals 8. Divide by 2. So x equals 4. What is my solution point? 4, 1. Are there any questions about this before we move on? Okay. So, obviously, those are very simple versions of this. And it's not always going to be that pretty. So, example 2 says, what happens if the terms aren't lined up? We are going to use algebra to rearrange the terms until they are all lined up. So, on the first page when we were doing this, we had x and y and then a constant number after the equal sign, a number that didn't have a variable. So, in number 1, which of these equations needs to be changed? The first one. What needs to happen in the first one? X and y need to be on the same side, on the left side. So somehow I need to move negative x over to the left side. How can I do that? Add x to both sides. So if I add x to both sides, my new equation is x plus 2y equals 7. And then I'm just going to line it up with my original second equation. So again, combine x plus 3x, 4x, 2y and negative 2y cancel to 0 equals 4. And then what do I do next? Divide by 4. So x equals 1. Plug that back in. You can plug it into the one of the original equations. So 2y equals negative 1 plus 7. So 2y equals 6. Divide by 2. Y equals 3. What is my solution here? 1, 3. Yeah. Alright, and then number 2, which one needs to be rearranged? Second one, what needs to be moved? The 7y. So I need to subtract 7y from both sides, which makes my new equation 5x minus 7y equals negative 32. And I keep my first equation the same, 3x plus 7y equals 48. So go ahead and add those two lines together. What do we get? 8x. The 7y and negative 7y cancel equals 16. Then what next? Divide by 8 on both sides, so x equals 2. Then go ahead and plug that back into one of the equations. I'm going to plug it into the first one. 3 times 2 plus 7y equals 48. So 6 plus 7y equals 48. Subtract 6 from both sides. 7y equals 42. And divide both sides by 7. So y equals 6. And what's the ordered pair here? 2, 6. Alright. So what if the terms are lined up and they could cancel but the signs aren't right? So then you can subtract the lines instead, which is basically multiplying both sides of the equations of one of the equations by -1. So if you look at what this means, look at this first one. We have 2x plus 7y equals 12 and 2x plus 3y equals 4. As it is written now, if I add those two things up, would anything cancel?
No.
No. What should cancel here?
The 2x.
The 2x. So I want to change one of them to the opposite sign. So I'm going to do the second equation. I'm going to change that to a -2x. But you can't just do it to the 2. You have to do it to every number in the equation. So this is going to become -3y equals -4.
Oh. Okay.
So now that you multiplied everything by -1 on both sides, is basically what you did. Combine everything. So what 2x minus 2x?
0.
0. 7y minus 3y?
4.
4y equals 12 minus 4?
8.
8. So divide by 4. Y equals 2. Plug that back in. I'm going to plug it into the first one. So 2x plus 7y equals 12. Plug that 2 in for y. So 2x plus 7 times 2 equals 12. 2x plus 14 equals 12. Subtract 14. So 2x equals -2. And divide by 2. So x equals -1. What is the solution point here? -1, 2.
Yeah.
In number 2, what should cancel?
Yeah.
The 8y. So I need to change one of the equations. I'm going to go ahead and do the bottom one. So I'm going to change this to positive 5x plus 8y equals positive 48. Add those together. So 6x plus 5x. 11x. Negative 8y and positive 8y cancel equals
8.
88.
Oh, what?
We changed the signs on everything
right.
in the second equation. So then divide both sides by 11 and x equals 8.
Yeah.
Plug that back into one of these equations. So let's do 6x minus 8y equals 40. Plug 8 in for x. So 6 times 8 minus 8y equals 40. 48 minus 8y equals 40. What do I need to do to both sides? Subtract 48 because 48 is positive. So I have negative 8y equals -8. Divide by -8, so y equals +1.
So wait, let's say you wanted to substitute it to the one at the bottom. Would we have to remove the signs that we just made?
No.
So it's just going to be -5x minus.
Positive 5x plus 8y equals 48.
Oh, okay.
Or you could use the original -5x minus 8y equals -48. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
All right, so what's our solution? 8, 1.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and try your understanding check. In A, which variable should we cancel out?
Y to x.
X. We should cancel out x. So I need to change one of the equations. I'm going to go ahead and change the second one. So it becomes -10x minus 3y equals -13. Add those two together. The 10x and -10x cancel. -4y minus 3y is -7y. Equals 6 and -13 is -7. So divide both sides by -7 and y is +1.
Yeah.
Plug that back in. So 10x minus 4 times 1 equals 6. 10x minus 4 equals 6. Add 4 to both sides. So 10x equals 10. Divide both sides by 10. So x equals 1. What is my solution? 1, 1.
Like a face.
B, which variable should cancel out? Y. So change one of the equations. I'll change the second one. Negative x minus 3y equals negative 3. So what is negative 2x and negative x? Negative 3x. 3y and negative 3y cancel. And that equals negative 12.
Well,
What would it look like if you changed the top one? Would it be like
You'll end up with the exact same answer.
positive 2x minus 3y?
Yes.
Okay, so just the opposite of.
Yes.
Okay.
So divide both sides by negative 3. So x equals positive 4. Plug in to one of these equations. So negative 2 times 4 plus 3y equals negative 9. So that's negative 8 plus 3y equals negative 9. Add 8 to both sides. So 3y equals negative 1.
Oh.
Divide by 3. What am I going to get here?
0.3 repeating.
Negative 1/3.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, keep as a fraction.
A fraction is exact.
I know,
0.3.
but I just said it like
No.
We're playing like it. Oh my god.
All right. What is the solution point? 4 negative 1/3.